Okay, and now Shalann's going to help me go through the general assessment to really gain awareness here. We're not, this doesn't take the place of a physio or a physician or a professional that would assess some current acute issues. This is more to prepare you to perhaps enter the New Back program. It might be good to do this at home in front of a mirror so you can see some of these range of motion positions, or you could have someone support you in this that kind of reports back how you're doing as you do it. But ultimately it's about awareness. You're feeling how you're moving through space and figuring out, oh, there's some places that are harder to do than others, that I can't move as well, etc. Okay, and then we'll inform our practice moving forward into New Back from there. So the first thing I'm going to have Shalann do is reach across and touch her opposite shoulder with her opposite hand. And then she'll do the same thing on the other side. Good. Now she's going to reach up overhead with one arm and touch the top of the opposite shoulder blade without arching her back, with no pain. Good. Try the other side. And again, if you can't do this, then that's okay. We'll just pay attention to that. And those are things that will influence how we practice, how we make some revisions, how we use core support. Now I'll have Shalann turn around away from us, and she's going to reach up behind herself and reach and touch the opposite shoulder blade with the opposite hand. And then the same thing on the other side. You might notice a little asymmetry. Sometimes one side's a little different than the other. Good. I'm going to have her face forward again. And now keeping her hips basically square, maybe even putting her hands on her hips, I'm going to let her hips and legs remain where they are. I'm going to have her curve, a posture we sometimes call the half moon in yoga. I'm going to have her curve off to the side. Keep the neck long. Good. And then come back to center. And then comparing that to the other side. Keeping the pelvis basically neutral, I'm going to curve off to the other side. Excellent. I'm going to come back to center. And now she can turn sideways. And I'm going to have her put her hands on her glutes like she's tucking her hands into her back pockets. And then keeping her neck nice and long and safe, I'm going to have her do a little extension. So she's going to lift the chest and the torso up and back. Not putting pressure in the low back necessarily, but feeling if there is pressure, if this is an uncomfortable move. Good. Back to center. Good. And now she can bend her knees a little bit, slide her hands around to the front of her hips, and she's going to round forward. She's going to do a supported rounding forward. So letting her, that's right, her head can go, her hips can go back a little bit more if she needs to, and she's got that nice mobility, and you're paying attention. Yeah, that's an unsupported ragdoll right here. So if there are issues, it'll be apparent here. You could actually bring your hands under your knees again, Shalann, just for most of you, like on the front of your knees. There you go. So you're nice and supported. For some of you that are compromised, this will be a big move. And so pay attention to how this feels. Nice bend in the knees, roll into upright nice and slow. And we'll be training you perhaps how to engage core, how to support this move so we can move you forward in a safe, strong back. She can turn forward again to face me. And now again, keeping her hips neutral, basically squared to the front of the room, she's going to turn to the right. So her shoulders and her spine and even her head can turn to the right, like looking over the right shoulder. So a spinal twist to the right. And then I'm going to have her come back to center, and she'll do the same thing to the opposite side. I'm going to have her turn to the left. Turning left, feeling how that feels. Good. Back to center. Awesome. You're doing great. Thanks, Shalann. And I'm going to have her bring the chair in now. And maybe move it a little more to the middle of the mat, right about there. Good. And I'm placing her hands on the chair. I'm going to have her back up a little bit. Keeping the knees over the ankles, I'm going to have her drop her buttocks back and drop into a squat. Letting the hips drop back, supporting herself on the chair, keep releasing into that squat, feeling the quality of the squat. Even the two legs. Does one leg turn a little bit? Does the back arch? Does the bum? Does the hip hurt? You know, what are you noticing while you do this? Come all the way back into upright. Good. Good. Thanks. All right, you're going to bring the chair to face me now. Turn it forward and back it up a little bit onto the mat if you would, so you can have it, so I can get all that shot. Good. And now I'm going to have you come onto the chair. Actually, you're going to sit on the chair. And keeping your feet fairly square, feel that as best you can, you're going to attempt to cross the right ankle on top of the left knee. Crossing the right ankle. There you go. Good. and then switch to the other side. So again, we're paying attention to feel. If there's anything going on there, does the leg even make it up there? Are the abductors so tight that they don't allow that? That's okay, that's something we're gonna learn. Good, uncross that leg, good. And now scoot your left leg a little more to the center and then cross your right leg over your left, like you're sliding your knees. There you go. Good, and uncross and try the other side. Excellent, and uncross. Good, you're doing great, Shalane, thank you so much. And then finally, she's gonna come off the chair. I'm gonna have her come into a knee down plank position. I'm gonna test the core. So she can move the chair out of the way. She'll come into plank from table. Good, and she can walk her, there you go. And lower the hips until you're just nice and neutral here. There you go, and then you're gonna hold, oh, she's even got a little arm bend. Your arms could be straighter than that. Maybe straighten them a little bit, Shalane. She's super strong, which is awesome. And she's gonna hold that, she's already holding, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Thanks, Shalane. Just pause there. Maybe just have a seat and peek my way so we can smile at you here in the end. So again, if you can hold that plank for 5 seconds, that's a good sign that you've got core support in the torso. If the hips can't maintain that, if you can't keep your belly and hips airborne, then we've got some work to do, and that's going to affect the overall support of the spine. That's a marker for us to pay attention to. Okay, so again, this is an awareness practice. We're going to use all of these pieces as tools to inform our developing new back practice. Again, this does not replace a doctor or a physio, an allopathic practitioner that would assess current injuries or illness, but I think it's a good starting place. So thanks and enjoy the rest of the program.